In this video, we're going to be breaking down our cash flow and our profits that we make each year on our property investing portfolio. Emily and I have been lucky enough to build out quite a large portfolio at around the $5 million mark. But what I thought I'd do, I'm pretty open and transparent on the YouTube channel, is I really wanted to share what we make each year in terms of profit. So what does the total income look like? What do the expenses look like? And how much money are we left with at the end of the day? So if we're not making any money out of this property portfolio, it's not giving us financial independence or financial freedom. Now, spoiler alert, we actually make over $50,000 out of the portfolio and we're looking to grow. We've got a couple of targets. So we had $50,000 passive income, $100,000 passive income, and $150,000 passive income targets. The start of our portfolio has really been largely focused on growing our wealth through capital growth and manufactured value. With our most recent purchase and our purchases going forward, we're going to be shifting to cash flow opportunities. We're still going to look to manufacture value and have some capital growth, but really we're going to be looking for higher interest rate investments and opportunities where we can potentially create more passive income that we can use in our everyday lifestyle. We're lucky enough to be at the point where we have a level of financial independence. And again, we want to grow because I want to do things outside of just the YouTube channel. I have dreams and aspirations to help other people through other ventures, and I'm sure they'll be revealed on the YouTube channel as we progress. Because I love taking you guys along for the ride. I love the community and the comments. So if you've got questions about how we've achieved this passive income or anything to do with building a property portfolio, leave a comment down below and let's just dive straight into the numbers. Now let's kick off with property number one. It's currently grossing $69,160 each year, which is $1,330 each week. This home was a property we didn't actually document on the YouTube channel. It's in a suburb just a few kilometers north of Brisbane CBD on a block that's just over 300 square meters. It's a massive home. It's about 6 bedrooms, off the top of my head, 3.5 bath, and it's got a lot of opportunity. There's still some value add opportunity in the property. I want to go there and do an external repaint. We're currently fitting out that extra half bathroom, so we're doing a toilet and a basin. And the property grosses really good income because of its proximity to the CBD and because it's a very large home for the area. We did some crazy things as we look to manufacture value on the property as well. I've got a 3-story high ladder there. I've also got a few battle scars and wounds as we lifted the property, re-leveled it and jacked it ourselves. So both my dad and I got under the property for several days and got a 20-ton jack from Kennard's Hire and lifted the property up and got a laser level and re-leveled it. So we tried a lot of manufactured techniques and tried to put in sweat equity on this first property, and it's been a great purchase for us. We also did something for a period of time called house hacking, where you live in the home and also rent out other spaces, which makes it a lot cheaper to own and run the property. We were getting our living expenses covered when we lived there for about 2.5 years, and we also had other people paying the rent, which would cover, the interest repayments, the expenses in terms of electricity, gas and water and rates. It really allowed us to live very cheaply and very frugally for a period of time. So that's property number one. Now, property number two, if you followed along with the channel, is the Baby Queenslander. Now, this house has a lot of love in my heart. Emily and I took on this project. It was about 10 weeks. It was at the start of COVID, so we bought it in about March 2020, and we manufactured value. So we took on all these renovation projects that we'd never done before. We used a paint sprayer on the complete repaint inside. We redid the floors ourselves with a floor sander we hired from Bunnings. And you can go back and watch the entire renovation series on that property. Now, the expected rent when we first bought it was around about $350 to $370 per week. And since we completed the renovation, it rents for $450 a week. So that's $23,400. Now you can see there's a massive difference between property one and property two, but property number two, the Baby Queenslander, has seen some great capital growth. It's located on the north side of Brisbane, around about 10 to 12 kilometers from the CBD. It's a great little home, just on over 600 square meters, and it's done a lot of the heavy lifting in its capital growth rather than being a cash flow focused property. Now, property number three was our recent purchase in Coffs Harbour. This is the house and 3 units on a medium density residential block, and we absolutely love this purchase. So we bought it for $1.4 million and it currently grosses $82,680 in annual income. So that's $1,590 per week. Now, there are some slight higher maintenance costs, there's some management fees, but this property is really a cash flow play. So we're looking for it to bring in strong cash flows, to give us passive income, to give us choices in what we do for work and how we spend our time. And that's the most important thing for us at this point, is having choices, having financial independence, and looking to grow that into financial abundance and help others along the way. Of this income, obviously this is from our portfolio. For each house that we own, we actually have a sponsor child with Compassion Australia. And that's just something we like to do and we want to continue to do in our own property investing journey. So for every property we continue to buy, we're going to have another sponsor child, and all the way through continue to pay and sponsor them each year. It's not too expensive. It's about $50 a month. So I'd encourage you, if you're in a position where you can buy an investment property or multiple investment properties, then try and have a giving component to your life as well. Whatever you can give, whether it's time or money, look at how you can give through the process, because you don't want to reach a point where you have wealth and you're not able to give it away. We wanted to instill that value into our buyer's agency here at Purpose Property as well. So we actually donate 10% of our revenue as well to charity. So keep that in mind, and that's something you might want to do. The total income on our property portfolio at the moment therefore grosses $175,240. That works out to $3,370 per week. Now that's over our third hurdle in terms of target for total income. But of course, we've got a lot of expenses that we need to break down and take a look at. So it sounds like a great number, but the net is obviously a little bit different. Now, the key expenses I wanted to run through are vacancy, interest, management fees, council rates, insurance, and maintenance. Those are our critical expenses that are across the entire portfolio, and I've grouped those numbers so we can end up with the net income at the end. Now, the first one on our list is a vacancy contingency. This is pretty important so you know exactly where you stand if the property needs to be relet each year. We try to reduce our tenant turnover. So if we have great tenants in place, we only do small increases or no increases depending on the situation. But it's great to keep a buffer in your cash flows for vacancy. And what we like to do is use 2 weeks. So 50 weeks of the year, the property will be rented, and 2 weeks of the year, we'll have a handover and that changeover period. That pulls out $6,740 based on a 2-week vacancy across the entire portfolio. The next one is our interest bill. So at the moment, it's $85,458. So I just crunched a quick little ratio there down at the bottom of your screen. So that actually makes up 48% of the income we receive from the portfolio. We're going to look to continue to pay down the debt on the portfolio, but at this point in time, we're comfortable that the income on the properties is going to cover the interest repayments. And no, we're not worried about interest rate rises. We've got our cash flow calculated and our buffers in place. So $85,000 is what it is at this point in time. And we're going to look to pay down the debt over the next 10, 15, 25 years. Number 3 on our list is management fees. Now, we've got management fees on properties 2 and 3, and we self-manage property number 1 because we did that when we lived there and we house hacked in that property. So 7% is the cost of us doing business and having people in place and systems in place to ensure our properties are being looked after, that maintenance and repairs items are also looked after. And when we need to, we've got that help to list and rent out the properties in a quick and efficient manner. It's really money well spent. I'd highly recommend you find a great property manager. We've had such a fantastic experience with the property managers in Coffs Harbour. So they've been amazing in terms of correspondence with us, in terms of sending us maintenance requests in a timely manner and having an easy approval process. And they're just a phone call away if we've got any questions or issues. So make sure you vet your own property managers, and it's money well spent in my books. The next one we've got are council rates. So we're across a couple of councils, and the critical thing here is this is just the cost of doing business, $14,456 each year. There's nothing we can do in terms of minimizing this expense. It's just going to forever be in the portfolio. And we're happy to pay those bills because we're lucky enough to be able to buy investments. And so that goes to council each year. The next one on our list is insurance. So we actually pay only $3,900 each year for insurance. The two ones that we use are NRMA and budget direct. Now, the reason our insurance is so cheap is because we maximize our excess on the properties. We don't plan on making an insurance claim ever unless there's major damage to the property. So the property completely floods from pipes bursting, or there's massive hail damage. Otherwise, we're going to look after the maintenance and the repairs on the property ourselves. What this essentially means is we boost up our excess to $5,000 on all our investment properties. We hold a six-figure cash flow budget in our offset account, and then we reduce the premiums we're going to pay to those insurers, and that's how we can get such a low figure at $3,900. The critical thing here is that we make sure the insurer is happy with the amount of property that we cover. So if they value the property at $1.3 million, then we make sure that we cover $1.3 million and maximize the excess to reduce the premiums we're going to pay. Now, the last one on our list is maintenance. We budget about $6,000 a year for maintenance items. That could be air cons need repairing or reservicing, taps get leaky, hinges fall off doors, all those sorts of things can happen in a rental property. And we've got that budget in our mind. So when a property manager comes to us and says this needs to be fixed or this needs to be repaired, then we've got that budget in place and we don't really stress about it or worry about it. In these cash flows, you'll see I haven't got renovations because renovations typically add value to the property and they're not going to form part of the natural cash flows of these properties or of our annual income. If I spend $10,000 on a renovation, I'd look to at least add value to the property of at least $20,000. So renovations aren't going to be included in today's income and operating expenses, so just keep that in mind. Which brings me to the total net income on our property portfolio as it stands today, which is $51,260. I'm an accountant by trade, so I like to look at things from a business mindset. So when you look at a business, you look at their profit and loss, and then you also look at their cash flows. So from a profit and loss basis, we are earning $51,000 each year before tax and depreciation and a couple of other nuances, but we're earning $51,260 each year of passive income. Now, to me, that is the true passive income number. I'm also going to show you a little bit of the principal component that we're paying down at the moment because our portfolio is roughly 50-50 in terms of principal and interest only. So I'll show you that as well. But excluding any principal repayments, we're earning $51,000 each year. And I consider the principal repayments as forced savings. It's your money going down against the debt. So I don't really consider that from a profit basis. Now, from a cash flow basis, principal paydown is very important. You also need to understand your cash flows. So just keep in mind, cash flow is very different to profit and loss. Now, with the principal repayments, which are $14,206 each year, our net income before taxes and depreciation is $37,054. So that's the cash flow position compared to the net income position from the profit and loss. Now, our living expenses are roughly $3,000 to $3,500 each month, which is about $42,000 each year. That doesn't exclude if we're going on an extravagant ski holiday or we're going overseas to New Zealand or Japan. But in terms of our living and lifestyle expenses, the portfolio is really washing its face at the moment. So all of the income covers all of the expenses, and our excess cash flow and our excess income is that $51,260 each year. Now, the next steps for us in building out our property portfolio are to boost the cash flow. Rather than continuing to just pay down the debt, we're actually going to look for higher cash flow opportunities over the next 2 years. Emily's holding me back from doing another purchase at this point in time because we've actually just had our baby boy, Asa. So he's only come into the world a couple of weeks ago, or not even that, a couple of days ago in my timeline. So we're very excited to have our little boy, so that might be why you might see a few less videos on the channel over the next few weeks. What this might mean is our expenses may increase over time if we look to grow our family. But in doing that, we're going to look to grow the cash flows, buy some more properties, maybe do some dual occupancy or granny flats, or look to buy more unit blocks and take on more renovation projects. I really do love renovating and sharing the content with you. I enjoy spending the time with my dad and family when we do those projects. And so that's exactly what I want to continue to do over the next few years. There might come a point where I no longer want to be an active investor and I've got other projects and other things I want to do. But that's the whole point of building a property portfolio. And that's why I created the YouTube channel, is to share with you guys this honest content, the real numbers of what we're making in terms of total income, what the expenses really look like, and how much net income we're producing at this point in time. This is achievable. It is a lot of hard work. It is a lot of sacrifice in terms of minimizing your expenses and looking to grow your savings and invest that money. For me, it's totally worth it. Having the choices of what I do with my time, who I spend my time with, what projects and things I'm passionate about, and enjoying time with family and friends is a really important thing to me going forward. So I encourage you, put your money to work, keep calculating your numbers, and hopefully you're inspired by this. This is not to be a brag. I just want to share the real numbers with you guys and hopefully motivate you to do the same. If you got any value out of this video, please drop a like. It really helps me out as I'm looking to grow the channel. Subscribe to the channel as well. Head over to purposeproperty.com.au if you're looking for a Brisbane buyer's agent. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Oops, smack.